got in a chair for about 7 months with a flesh pump and sat in this chair, reflecting on my life and what I was doing. I got off psych meds, all the stuff that I was doing, but I had to be forced to get in that chair. Well, that infection that was on top of my foot healed somewhat, so I could walk for about a week, and then my big toe got red, and I had to have my middle toes amputated because it got in the bone. So I was back in a chair for another 7 months. So almost a year and a half, I sat in a chair. During that time, we moved here to Galt. We were living in Modesto. My poor wife moved us all by herself. She's so anyway, keep going. I got better, but I developed diabetic ulcers all over my feet. Never really blood sugar under control. Was still eating. I thought I could change my diet a little bit. I thought I could do Weight Watchers. But at that point, I didn't realize that my blood sugar had accumulated over years and years of eating carbs. From the research that I've done since then, the years of eating carbs caused me to be insulin resistant. So no matter where I changed my diet at that point, I was going to continue to develop diabetes without cutting out the sugar and carbs. So I went on an Alaskan cruise with my wife, kind of a long story, but to a point. Went on an Alaskan cruise with my wife. The diabetic ulcers got infected. When we got back, I went to bed and I slept for 36 hours and woke up, and my foot was really big. Went to the VA hospital, put my foot in a shoe, went to the VA hospital, and the front of my right foot got amputated. At that time, I had gotten from 250 down to 152. My body was actually eating itself because my blood sugar was always over 350. So my wife thought I had cancer and I was dying. I had my foot amputated. That moment was the worst moment of my life when I looked down and I realized that where I was at in my life at 52 years old was in a hospital with my right foot amputated. Now, I am the most grateful that happened to me because I started researching how I could change what I was doing. And a friend of mine, I was at a cryptocurrency, gave me exogenous ketones. The first way I was introduced to the ketones is I drank them. My blood sugar dropped 100 points, and I got excited. And so I called him up, got the product, started drinking it every day, and then started researching the ketogenic lifestyle, which led me to Happy Coffee, intermittent fasting, full ketogenic lifestyle. I lean more towards the carnivore, but I do fasting and I do low carbs. And if I eat carbs, I'll eat it within the 20 to 30 minute window, and I'll stop. So I'll decide I'll have like a little small fry or something. I'll eat it, and then I'll stop immediately. But yeah, I believe that diabetes is a diet disease that's being treated with medication. So that's my personal belief, and it's Dr. Fung. If you ever want to follow anybody, you can follow Dr. Fung. He wrote a book called The Diabetes Code that explains exactly what I'm talking about. And he's actually defeating the symptoms of diabetes, and so am I, with a ketogenic diet and fasting, and products and hacks and biohacks that I use. Okay. But that's my story in a nutshell. I want to say something to the diabetics out there. If you're tired of being on the roller coaster and you think people don't understand, I understand. You can defeat diabetes with the ketogenic lifestyle. You can. I've proven it. And some of the things that's happened around me is my dad was diabetic for 20 years. And last week, they took him off his insulin for the first time. He only takes metformin now. I was on glipizide, 2 types of insulin, metformin, on and on and on. Blood pressure medicine, heart medicine, because diabetes caused all that. And I'm off all my meds now.
Right.
But truly, and you could do it in a short period of time. It doesn't take a long time. If you could sustain it for 30, 60 days, your taste will change for sugar, I promise you.
Right.
and I want to say this, you guys, if any people out there know anybody that I should know, you know anybody I should know, tag them in the comments down below. Share the video with them. Share it. Tag them. Connect with me. I got a group, and you can friend me on Facebook. Or
what's your group called? What's the name of your group?
Defeating Diabetes with hashtag Old Man Keto.
That's
and
awesome.
I have a page too.
All right. So let me ask you just a couple of questions. Like, what weight did you get to at your heaviest?
260.
260.
I was
Okay.
at 260.
All right. And you showed me a picture where you looked like a dang POW, man, where you said your body was eating itself when your blood sugar was so out of control. You got down how low?
152.
110 pound difference almost. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You didn't
it is.
even look like you in that picture. It's crazy.
Now, that
So,
was a little over a year ago.
right. So what is cool about the universe and what's cool about just what's happened with me meeting you, with us becoming friends, with us talking every day. It's like, and I put this in a post today, like we started a keto group, Texas Keto Couple. It's over a year old, but Super Bowl Sunday of last year, we were at 315 people. And we just started sharing it and made it a mission to impact and help more people. And we started putting out a free keto meal plan we put out every week. And just today, this morning, I woke up to that group at 20,000 people, which is a pretty dang cool thing. And, I've shared your videos in the group for a very specific reason. Like, I have not battled diabetes the way you have. I consider you to be more of a subject matter expert about battling diabetes. I just got threatened with the doctor, like, if you don't do something, you're going to be a diabetic. He just scared me, and so I pulled back from the cliff. You did more of a Thelma and Louise off of the cliff. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. I'm not saying don't talk to your doctors. Absolutely monitor your blood sugar. Talk to your doctor. Do it with your doctor. But let me tell you, they're not educated. They're educated by big pharma. Every medical school is funded. This is just a fact. It's the truth. That every medical school is funded by the pharmacy industry. And their solution to diabetes is it's a progressive and lifelong disease. That's where they're coming from. And they're taught 1 month on diet. And the American Diabetes Association just now approved low carb living. But I can say that I went completely against my doctor's advice. Went full fat, ketogenic, did it all, and I'm off heart meds, blood medicine, diabetes, all my insulin, everything. So do your own research, but try it. Do an experiment. If you're a diabetic and you're on the edge of whether I'm going to do the ketogenic diet or not, experiment, please, or contact me.
Right.
Or don't believe me, go look at Dr. Fung. Research on YouTube. There's a million videos on YouTube about diabetes and the ketogenic diet.
Right. So there's a question here being asked, what did he say he drank to begin with? What he drank to begin with, Diane, is what we call exogenous ketones. And so just not to do too deep of a dive in there, but whenever you stop eating sugar, which that's what carbs is sugar, when you stop putting sugar in your body and you do it strict enough or long enough, your body has to get energy from somewhere because it will deplete all the glucose. That's your blood sugar. And when it depletes all that glucose and it has to get energy from somewhere, it will start releasing our stored fat into the body. And it gets processed in the liver and converted into ketones. And it's a measurable thing. There's actually blood meters that you can poke your little finger and check your ketone levels. And so that's called being in ketosis, when you have an elevated level of ketones. And used to, the only way you could elevate ketones in your body was to restrict sugar and carbs strict enough for long enough. Now you can actually drink ketones into your body. Okay. The problem is that when it came out, it was kind of promoted as the easy way to get into ketosis. You just drink this stuff and then you're magically in ketosis. Well, there's a difference between ketosis, which is elevating ketones in your body, and ketogenesis, which means you're burning up your body's fat to create ketones. Two different things. So really, if you look at exogenous ketones more as like an energy source, because the ketones is what actually goes into your cells at the cellular level and creates energy when there's not glucose to do that with. And so drinking ketones is just like boosting up an energy source into your body. We have seen people, I've been involved with that whole deal for about 3 years now, and this ketogenic lifestyle for about 3 years now. It is amazing as a combination together. I saw Tony Freeman just popped on here earlier. Me and Tony, who's been, 30 plus years professional bodybuilder, who knows probably more about nutrition and diet and all that kind of stuff than anybody on planet Earth, especially watching this video, have had the conversation like we are not designed to stay in ketosis all the time. We're more like a hybrid car. We're more designed to go in and out of ketosis. We are absolutely not designed to consume the amount of sugar that the average human being eats today. Go Google that, average sugar consumption over the past 100, 200 years. You'll be amazed. Because
it's over 100 pounds a year.
Right.
Over 100 pounds.
In the 1800s, the average American or average person living on this continent consumed the amount of sugar in one can of soda every 7 days. And the average human today consumes that amount of sugar every 7 hours. That kind of draws a picture for you. The human body was not designed to process that amount of sugar. It just wasn't. And that's why our control systems to control blood sugar get so out of whack that they can't control anymore. They get so out of whack they cannot make enough insulin, or even if they make enough insulin, the insulin won't get the sugar into the cells because we have too much sugar in the blood, because our bodies aren't designed to process that much sugar. And that's what we're doing to ourselves. And it's not just an American problem, it's now turned into a global, worldwide problem. And part of the problem is that we have these big food companies telling people and convincing our governments to tell people that that's what we should eat. Carbs, 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 grain, grain, grain. It's cheap for them to make. It sits on the shelf for a long time without going bad and makes them a lot of profit. Okay, eating like a caveman doesn't make them a lot of profit. And so all you have to do is follow the money to see where a lot of this problem is big food companies, big pharma.
I think we're on our soapbox, and a lot of people are saying I don't want to hear all this crap.
Right.
But I do want to say this. There's certain products, and you asked me what products I'm taking. And I have a little idea that I'm pitching around with defeating diabetes. How many if you're diabetic, type in the comments and hit some thumbs up, diabetic. Because I'm going to ask the diabetics out there if they would be interested in a 30-day intermittent fasting ketogenic challenge. And on that challenge, I want to talk to them about doing 3 things. Because I drink Happy Coffee every morning. If you're interested in Happy Coffee, put a coffee cup in the comments. I believe in this product. I've been drinking it for a year, and it helps me suppress my appetite on days when I had a hard time getting to 10 o'clock in the morning when I would do my eating window. I stop eating about 6, and I don't eat until 10 for my intermittent fasting. But if I didn't have my Happy Coffee, and I don't do fasting, it's not a strict fast. It'll be Happy Coffee, bone broth for a meal maybe If whatever, you can modify it however you want. But if you're diabetic and you'd like to start off the new year 30 days and kickstart get rid of all that sugar in your body and kickstart, then I would love to know your feedback. If you guys would like to know, and we could do it together as a group.
Right.
And it would be a 30-day challenge.
I think that'll be awesome.
Eating diabetes, 30-day ketosis challenge. And we're getting a lot of comments for coffee in the thing. And this I love it. The other product I use is the best exogenous ketones that I've found, and I'll share that with you too. But on the times, what's great, and you talked about the exogenous ketones, but one of the things that is great for exogenous ketones that he didn't go for with type 2 diabetics, if you slip up, let's say you slip up and you eat a Snickers bar, well, one of the things you can do is you can drink exogenous ketones right after you eat that bar. It won't stop that blood sugar, but what it will do is it'll blunt the extreme blood sugar spike, because you'll spike after you eat. About 15 minutes, your blood sugar is going to spike. And so when it spikes, before you do that, you drink the ketones, and it'll keep that high number down, and it'll help you get back into ketosis. You won't have to wait for 3 days.
Right.
You just go back on track.
Right.
And then the bone broth, and what's great about doing intermittent fasting, you could fast for a day or 2 or 3 days just on exogenous ketones, coffee, happy coffee, and bone broth. And I've done that. Mm-hmm. And there's a bone broth product that we recommend.
Right.
So that is the idea. And I would like to get some feedback. If you guys like that idea, give me a punch.
Right.
One of those punches in the.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we just make us a group? We'll do this tomorrow. We'll make us a group for this 30-day challenge. And we'll just put it out to everybody. If you're interested in doing like a 30-day challenge the month of January, if you are a diabetic type 1, type 2, we're going to recommend that you do work with your doctor, that you're watching your blood sugar very closely during this month while we're doing this challenge. This isn't something that you just go off and do and don't pay attention to it, because things can change pretty drastically whenever you start making these changes to your diet. But we'll put together a group, and if it's 3 people, if it's 10 people, if it's 300 people that want to go do this challenge and work together to start this year off, getting off on a better nutritional footing and get your health back, take control of your own health back, like we'll work with you guys to do that. You down with that, Jim? That sound good? I'm
down with that. I'm definitely down with that.
Okay.
I've decided what I do is I help people. I'm old man, hashtag old man keto. I help people defeat the symptoms of diabetes utilizing the ketogenic diet. And I'm passionate about it. I believe, like you do, that things happen for a reason, and that everything's not particularly random. And I'm grateful that I lost my foot, because I can help so many people. I see comments all the time about, if you know somebody that has lost a limb due to diabetes, put it in the comments. I'd like to know, because everybody knows somebody who lost a leg. I watched 2 of my uncles die. My dad's brother, my dad's cousin, both died from losing limbs because of diabetes. And I also watched one brother of his die because he refused to let him take his leg. And so my family has a history of it. So it's not something to be taken lightly. It's an epidemic. It's 50% of the population. Right. But if I can help one person, right, I'm good.
Right. Okay. Well, guys, if anybody's interested in this, anybody that watches this on replay, this may be something that we just start